So in the United States, of course, we've had a major boom in both natural gas and oil production. In our case, the big increases have come largely from what's called unconventional production, shale gas, shale oil, for example. One of the very important emphases that we as administration place is producing that oil and gas with a reduced environmental footprint. So that's one part of sustainability, is making sure that the environmental footprint is minimized. That's a lot of experience that we have. That's, again, something that we can help bring to Africa in terms of making sure the production there as well has as little environmental impact as possible, while having as much economic impact as possible to help develop the economies.
I want to talk about President Obama's Power Africa initiative, and if that will be a focus of the discussions for the ministerial meetings in Addis.
Power Africa, first of all, is a high priority of the president. As you know, he announced it last year in his trip to Africa. It starts out with six countries, 3 in the west and 3 in the east of Africa. It's had some notable successes in various of those countries, including, by the way, a focus on regional projects, which will be in our summit, again, will be a focus area. Now, clearly, we work with other countries besides those 6 as well, and obviously in the summit there will be many more countries than those 6 involved. So we will be talking about the need to bring electricity, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, at large scale. Power Africa is a catalyst for that. But when it comes to really building that up at large scale, clearly we're going to need more resources than governments can bring to bear. The International Energy Agency, for example, has estimated that there'll be the need for, say, $300 billion of investment in sub-Saharan Africa in energy infrastructure over the next 15 years. So a big focus, and this will tie back to Power Africa, a big focus of the summit is what will it take to mobilize a lot of private capital to invest in the energy infrastructure of Africa. There are many other features of the ministerial that are worth mentioning. In particular, a focus on women. Another issue is clearly we need to not just visit Addis and find it a pleasant few days. We need to have follow through, and that's where a couple of points come in. One is the summit that will follow. We will be able from Addis to feed into that summit of the leaders in terms of specific proposals going forward. But secondly, this focus on getting the financial institutions working with the private companies, U.S. and African, is where we expect to have lots of follow through in the years going forward.
And what would you count as a successful summit? I mean, what are the goals? I mean, the benchmarks you hope to hit?
I think the summit will succeed, again, if it makes these links company to company, U.S. and Africa, and companies to our financial institutions. We expect, again, roughly 30 U.S. companies to be there at the expo, taking part in various panels, but probably even more important, making contacts between U.S. and African companies, because that's where the big infrastructure build is going to come. And our job is to facilitate it, which is why, again, I really want to emphasize that we are going as well with 5 of our major institutions, government institutions, that help support private sector activity. I've mentioned some of them already, like the Export-Import Bank, the Trade and Development Agency, the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, the Millennium Challenge, the Agency for International Development. All of these play roles in advancing specific projects in a variety of ways. Some are grants, some are loan guarantees, risk management activities that can help the financing of specific projects all across Africa. So that really, in the end, that will be the long-term success story, is kicking off those private sector activities.